guys, welcome back to RC Everyday. So, I finally made some progress here on the, I don't know what we're going to call this one, Ratrod, number 5 or 6 or something, I don't even know. Lost count at this point, and half of them are packed, so I don't even have them here to count. So I got tied up on this front suspension. I really wanted to do this half elliptical leaf spring thing, and I went about it kind of wrong. Had a little accident. The pieces that I made to weld on the chassis, I welded them on the wrong side, and the holes were drilled a certain way, and yeah, things weren't working out. So I had to drill out the holes in these brackets that are behind these gigantic tires. It's really hard to show you. Alright, so you can see the block. It's just a 1/4 by 1/4 solid tube that's cut. I drilled 3 holes because leaf springs have 3 holes. Didn't drill them straight, of course, because I'm not that precise. And yeah, drilled them out for M3. I kind of self-tapped some fine thread screws in there, and it was working alright. But they were angling in really far, if you remember in the last couple videos. And this was my original idea for mounting them to the front axle. I was going to use some of these nice Heim joints from RC 4-wheel drive, M3. They are nice because you don't thread the threaded end into it. It's already made into it. So it would give them a lot more strength going through that front axle. And it didn't line up right. They were just angled wrong, and it didn't jive right. So I drilled out the holes, just trying to make them elongated, I guess, oblong, to be able to get them angled the right way, and it wasn't really working. So I realized I was going to need to get some different hardware. So I had to wait. Amazon brought this little thing today. I think it was like 20 bucks. And this has some M2, M3, M4, and M5 hardware, several different screw lengths, nuts and washers. So I rounded everything up to an M4, and that led to a couple problems. You can probably see these rear screws overlap the head of the front screw. Not a big deal. I need to cut the head of the screw a little bit and make them fit together. It's going to be next to impossible, but I don't know. We might just rock it like it is, because we are going to utilize these screws in the rear as make some tabs to mount up and mount the grill to. Works out perfect, and we can just have some little rusty metal pieces that go under there, and we can screw our grill in when we get there. Another issue, I've got to find my leaf springs. I'm pretty sure that they're already packed and moved, and this leaf spring, the main leaf on this side, it did break. I drilled them out. All my drill bits are a mess, and of course it goes 9/32. What I needed was close to M4, and it was pretty much dull. And yeah, tried to wallow out the hole on the main leaf a little bit to get the screw in, and it snapped the back of the leaf spring off. So I mean, you see these are bent up a little bit. They're not as uniform as these. So I got to get another set of leaf springs, cut them down, drill them out, and swap them in. But it won't be that bad now because I've got the right stuff. I know what size everything needs to be from the start, so I don't have to drill them and wallow them out. So that will correct that little issue. But it works. We've got about 1/4 inch of suspension movement. I'm digging it. The servo placement I'm happy with. Got that nice Reefs little 99 micro in there. And it's not all the way tight. Nothing's all the way tight. I'm probably going to have to space. That's why I haven't tightened that all the way. One, the back of the servo is hitting the front of the motor, which we could file that down. I've done that before on another rig to move the servo back, but I'm probably going to have to space it off the mount here. Bring it forward just a hair so it clears this ridge in the grill, and everything jives together nicely. But I'm digging the look. The chassis is off the ground. The body is setting a little bit low still, so I don't want to have the body too far below the frame, but it probably will be somewhere around about there once we figure out mounts. I was really hoping that this video would turn into a test drive video, but we're still not quite there yet. We've got to sort out the steering, get that permanently mounted, and then we've got to look at body mounts, and I'm going to have to make some kind of electronics tray inside of it, battery mount and all that. But yeah, the main thing on the front that I'm really proud of myself for, I'm pretty stoked with how this turned out. So I got some 15mm RC 4-wheel drive rods and probably a 6 or 8 mil, maybe a 5 or 6 in the middle. I put a rod end in there, hold those two together, and then luckily some of my new hardware is longer than anything that I had, and I was able to use some aluminum spacers to put inside the leaf spring ends and run the bolts all the way through. Now we have one solid rigid piece in the front, and that's going to help keep the leaf springs, the front end, tracked straight. So now our suspension, not only does it's basically a 4-link. Your top 2 links are the leaf springs, and yeah, it's going to keep everything nice and parallel and doing what it's supposed to do. You can see here just how much movement we've got. Got plenty of travel, and yeah, I'm pretty happy. It looks cool. I mean, we're still always limited by using RC components, and you know, it just making a solid piece out of that kind of tidies it up a little bit, makes it look a little more realistic-ish, and it matches the steering rod. We've got the RC 4-drive Heim joints on here as well. I've got to do a little tweaking on that because I do have a little bit of toe out in the front, and those are all the way in, so we're going to have to see what we can do about that. We may have to sand on those nuts a little bit to get a millimeter on each side or something. It's not enough to really affect anything, I don't think. But again, these are the wheels and tires from one of the high dollar 1/8 scale model Willys Jeeps. I can't remember what brand it is. That's the one I have the Ecto 1 kit coming for. But yeah, viewer sent those in to me, and they are just the perfect Ratrod look. So tall and skinny, the military style tire. I'm digging it. It's been a while since we've done anything on this. The rear end is RC 4-wheel drive Yoda 2. These are the new 50mm Bilstein RC 4-wheel drive shocks, super scale. These are much higher quality than the older scale, super scale shocks. They are expensive, but they do work well. Short triangulated 4-link. I think it looks like I've got the 15mm rods on all 4 of the 4-link. And yeah, I got to measure it up, try to find a drive shaft, which I've already packed those 2. This whole selling my house and moving thing has been a pain in the butt. I'm dying to get back out here and get the building, and yeah, it's kind of frustrating now because some of my stuff, I thought I still had it in there. I went and started cutting boxes open, and now it's gone. But really excited to get this finished up. This is going to be my big build I'm going to take to Ultimate Scale Truck Expo this year. They're supposed to be having a car class in the gallery, and it would be cool if I could actually win a trophy for once. This will be my 4th year going out there and sponsoring the event. But it's all picked and chosen by the viewers, you guys that are out there. So that'll be fun. Put it head to head against Jeremy from Big Squid's DeLorean again. But little things here and there. I really don't have a clue about the body mounts yet. I've got to make a new firewall for the body. The one I had made was they'd already been modified for another chassis that I tried to use this body on. It didn't work. And we've changed the motor position and everything on the chassis, so it's really got to fit pretty close to the bell housing. So we'll have to try and cut that out, but won't be a big deal. The pinion angles and stuff I think will be pretty good. They're pretty even. It's going to be about the same degree on each end. Things to think about. It may have some clearance issues with that bottom. Well, no, we shouldn't. Everything looks good with that. So yeah, I'm excited to move forward with this, guys. I won't keep rambling. I'm really digging that front suspension. I can't wait. I got to find some leaf springs. I may just have to order another set because it may be a couple weeks before I get to where my stuff is stored, and I don't remember what box they're in. But anywho, appreciate you guys watching. And oh, also the bodies. I always get asked still where the bodies come from. They are 3D printed. Nightcrawler's 3D. He's starting back up. I don't know how much he's got going on yet, but he did quit making the bodies for a little while. But you find him on Facebook, I believe. He had a website. I don't know if he's got his website back up and running. Nightcrawlers3d.com. But I'm going to wrap this video up, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Keep it scale, and I will see y'all next time.